In honor of Pride Month, I'm going to be going through some of my favorite horror books that center around LGBTQ plus stories because, as I've said, representation matters, and it is especially important to uplift queer art during a time where the people in power are actively trying to erase it. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my Pride Month fantasy book recommendation video that is already up on my page. Starting out with Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews, and this is a YA gothic botanical horror that follows our two MMCs who are away at boarding school, and they together write and illustrate monstrous fairy tales. However, the stakes this year are higher than ever before because the monsters that this pair has been creating, well, they've come to life and they're actually attacking the school. Hazelthorn, also by C.G. Drews, follows our MMC who is an orphan who was taken in by a very wealthy older man. This man passes away, and he actually leaves his entire fortune and estate to our MMC, which causes quite the stir with his actual blood-related family members, especially the grandson who tried to kill our MMC about 7 years ago, and our MMC, of course, has been obsessed with him ever since, because why wouldn't he be? And if all of that is not enough, the monstrous gardens that are surrounding the estate are hungrier than ever before. The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White is a YA gothic horror that takes place in England during the Victorian era, and it follows our MMC, who is an autistic trans boy with purple eyes. And in this version of the world, people with purple eyes are able to see the other side. Now, after one too many mistakes, his parents decide to send him away to a sanatorium for sick girls, where upon his arrival, he is immediately haunted by the ghosts of missing girls, and they are begging him for help. Hell Followed With Us is also by Andrew Joseph White, and this is a YA dystopian horror novel that follows our MMC, who is a trans boy on the run from the extremist fundamentalist religious cult who raised him, because they have created and released a bioweapon to essentially start the end of the world, and our MMC is infected with this weapon. On Sunday, She Picked Flowers by Yaya Schofield is a Southern Gothic horror novel that follows our FMC who escapes her mother's abuse and flees to the uncanny forest of Georgia, only to find a house haunted by haunts, ghosts, and monsters far more evil than you will ever imagine. My Darling Dreadful Thing by Joanna Van Veen is a gothic horror novel that follows our FMC who has a spirit companion, aka a ghost, yes, a ghost. And she is being investigated for the murder of the wealthy older woman who had taken her in. Also by Joanna Van Veen, Blood on Her Tongue is another gothic horror novel that follows our FMC who rushes to the side of her twin sister who is apparently going mad. However, it turns out that this illness may have less to do with madness and more to do with the vampiric parasite found in the bog woman that her sister discovered weeks ago. By Laura Steven, we have Every Exquisite Thing, which is a YA sapphic horror thriller romance retelling of the Picture of Dorian Gray set at an elite drama school. And finally, we have Herculean by Grace Byron, which follows our FMC who is a trans girl who leaves New York City to live on her toxic ex's trans girl commune in the middle of rural America, only to realize that this quote-unquote safe haven is full of more dark secrets than she ever could have imagined. Let me know what other books you guys would add to this list in the comments.